Hi everyone, it's Tammy at Frou-frou Studio. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working on the hashtag Junk Journal Madness journal for the month of June. And this is a monthly journal challenge hosted by Susan at I Totally Love It. And she is actually the guest collaborator for this month because it is her birthday month. And the spinner, chose remnants, leftovers, and mashup for the theme for this month's journal. And because the 15th is her birthday, she chose 15 makes and 15 materials to use in the journal. But that is, she has made that optional this month because she has challenged everyone that is participating in the challenge to make something that they haven't made before. She is doing a flip-flop stack kind of journal, and hers has started out really cute. I have made one of those before, and they are very addictive, so I think she's really going to enjoy working on hers. I have decided to take this blank book that I found at a thrift store that is filled with handmade paper, and I removed a couple of the signatures so I would have room to work. And then I went through all of my different little project folders, and I pulled out something from each one of those folders, keeping in mind colors. So that is going to be kind of my cohesive thing that brings this journal together, is using similar colors from different kits and creating my journal that way. So this is the first spread that I did. There is a video on this. I do have a Junk Journal Madness playlist. If you haven't seen journals that I've made for the previous months, you're welcome to go back and look at those, and it will have this journal in there as well. So, like I said, we did this one the last time. And then I have one that I have done on my own. And it is this one with a belly band. And it's got a couple of ephemera pieces behind the belly band. And it also has this little butterfly as a tuck. And I have just tucked that little journaling card underneath there. And as you can see by looking at this, kind of what I was talking about, as far as pulling from my different folders, this obviously is from, butterfly journals. You've got botanical journal here, a bohemian journal, birds. This was actually pulled from like a school themed folder. It is a child's music book that has kind of nursery rhyme type music in it. And so, like I said, this one I did on my own. So today we're going to do another one. And I'm going to do a envelope flip. And for this one, I have gone through and pulled out some blues and purples. So that's what we're going to work with today. So this is the envelope. And you can see it's just a plain white, probably like a thank you card envelope or a small card envelope. And I'm going to make it so it will wrap around the page. And then when it flips up, like if this is wrapped around this page like this, when it flips up, it's going to have this big floral piece and this butterfly underneath. So it'll be like that. So my collage work is going to actually be on the envelope. So I'm going to move my book to the side for the moment, and we're going to work on the envelope. So my envelope is where all my little tucks and pieces are going to be. So I pulled out some different pieces of ephemera, and I'm going to make some, like this is a little pocket that looks like a tea bag cover. And I've got a card in here that's actually from a bee journal, but it has kind of a purpley background to it. So that is going to be down in this little tuck. And I may have to cut that a little shorter and a little more narrow so that it fits in there better. And then I have this from my birds and this from my florals. This is a Tim Holtz piece. And I've got this little grungy tag with a stamp on it. I've got this little piece that actually came on a package delivered by Amazon. I've got this plaid tag that came out of my Sherlock Holmes folder. This lady came out of my Victorian folder. And then I've got a neutral library card. So what I want to do is I want to make it so that the library card is on here. And I'm going to put this big floral, I think, on the library card. And then this pocket is going to go on here as a pocket. And then this little lady is going to go, I'm going to make it a tuck behind. Kind of like that. And then this tag is going to go down here at the bottom. And I'm going to glue that on. Like a pocket. And then we're going to have, nope. This is going to go over this. Like that. Yep. And then this is going to go over this. And my bird is going to go on here. And then this little Tim Holtz piece is going to be a tuck. And I'm going to use this other little piece of floral just to kind of tie it in. And then I've got a button to put on here. So hopefully, in the end, that's what we're going to have. Now to figure out how to glue it all down. So, in this particular make, the card, the index card, or library card, is more or less just a background piece. So we're going to glue it down first and glue the flower on. So let's get that on there, and then we can start getting our other pieces together. And that's why I'm not worried that this envelope is white, because you're not going to be able to see any of it by the end. So this will go up in the corner. So how's everybody doing today? I hope your weekend has started off well. Just moving along here. My neck is doing much better. So hopefully that is on the way to amend. Okay, so there is our card with our flower. And we'll trim those little pieces off so they don't interfere with envelope flipping when we get ready to put it down. All right, so then we need to create these little pockets. So like I said, this one, I'm going to trim that down so it's a little bit shorter. And I'm going to take just a slither off each side so that it fits in that pocket just a little bit better. All right, let's see if that does better. Yes. All right, so now we can glue our pocket shut. What am I doing here? I'm about to mess up. I don't need to glue that top part. Actually, I don't need to glue any of this on the top. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to get anything in there. I might even cut those flaps off. I don't need them. I'm going to keep the one on the side just to give myself a little bit of a gusset on one side. All right. That's better. I didn't cut that very straight. Okay. Now, let's figure out where this needs to be. And I could just leave that loose, actually. Alright, so let's glue this one on, and I'm going to glue it so I can cut off the tag part, I think. I was going to do the tag part and leave it on there, but I'm thinking that that's going to interfere with my envelope flipping. So I think I'm just going to glue it on as a rectangle. Make sure I didn't glue the wrong edge again. Okay, so now we have a pocket there, and then this tag will go down in here. Just like that. And then that will go down in here. And I really should let this dry better, but and then this is gonna go here, but I need to put this on first. And I do want to ink that. That looks too new. Yeah, if you have a Amazon facility in your area where you get your deliveries straight from the Amazon facility, like we do, they have these funky little tags on your packages, and they come in all different colors depending on, I guess, what section of the warehouse they pull them from. But yeah, they're really cool. So I've been pulling them off the packages and using them in my journals. Alright, so we want to glue this as a pocket as well, so that we can put our little tag in here, like that. And I want to make sure and leave room for my little bird. Alright, so I want to glue at that line and at the bottom. I guess that's more like a little mini belly band, right? Okay, and then my tag will slide in and out there. And then we can put the bird on. We are going to have some white up here. Oh, no, we're not. I mean, it'll be there, but you're not going to be able to see it because we're going to put her in here. Maybe what we do is just go ahead and glue her on there. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So let's do that. Can I get this flower up? I would like for it to be underneath that. Just look. Ugh. Broke it. How many times have I done that this week? That's okay. We'll just glue it right back on there. Alright, so let's glue her on there. Okay. Trim that. I need to clean my scissors. So bad. They're so sticky. Okay, let's glue her a little. Top back on our flower. Nobody will know but you and me. There we go. Now, in that a little bit. Let's get our bird on here. And our other flower will go about right there. Okay, so we'll glue that down. And I actually could glue this a little bit further up so it wouldn't stick up as bad. I think I'll do that. I mean, it won't stick up anyway once it gets flattened out in the journal, but it wouldn't hurt it to be tacked down just a little more. Because this doesn't have to come out. I mean, it's kind of cool that it does because it says tea time on there, but it doesn't have to. All right, now we're going to do our bird. And again, these birds are from Tales, T-A-L-E-S, of Ephemera. And the kit is called Watercolor Birds. Okay, and then because I cut this off square and that was where I was going to put my button, now I think I'll put it right there. But I like that darker color. Let's see, I don't think I have a darker color purple because I think it ties together the dark that's in the bird. See what else I have in my little purple bin. I like that one too, though. Especially since it has that little vintage blue fabric in there where it was cut off. Let's use that one. Let's use Fabri-Tac. Okay, now let's ink all the way around that. And then we'll work on our collage that's going on the back page while this is getting good and dry. Alright, so there's our envelope flip. Now, I'm going to move this to the side and bring the journal back. And we're going to put this little piece on the back of here, and I'm not going to ink it or anything. I want it to stay just like that. And then I'm going to put this 49 in Marquette Dragon butterfly on there. This piece was a freebie that I found when I first started junk journaling, and it was actually put in the first journal that I ever made. So that's how long it's been in my stash. So it's time to say goodbye. I think it fits for this particular page, so we're going to go with it. Sorry, had to get a swallow of my drink. My allergies are doing much better today, too. We had some rain yesterday and the day before. That kind of helped clear the air a little bit. So, yeah, I'm not suffering near as much today. So, all in all, so far today, it's been pretty good darn day. Hopefully it'll stay that way. Okay, I'm sure there's areas I did not get, but we're going to stick it down and then see if we need to get any edges we missed. Okay, now I'm going to put my envelope on before I put the butterfly on, because I want to make sure that my butterfly is poking out above the envelope. So the next step is going to be to glue this, and I'm going to wrap this around this side, and I'm going to glue it over here, and I'm going to glue it just down this seam, because that will allow two things. That will allow me to either use this as a tuck over here, or it will allow me to cover this up with, say, a pocket, like an angled pocket or something like that. And if so, then I can kind of follow this line all the way down and glue this piece to whatever piece that I'm going to use as a pocket and have it covered. So for now, the glue is just going to go down that line, if that makes any sense to you guys. I hope it does. Okay, so now if we flip it back over, and we have our flip out, and as you can see, this is white, and I'm okay with that because this has got white in it. And I'm just going to leave it like that, and then find some kind of journaling card or something to stick in there. Alright, so my butterfly, I want to be somewhere in this area. So if I say, okay, I want my wing to be right there at the top, then I think we'll be in the right spot. And I can always flip it back over after I put the glue on it here and put it down. Like I can do this. And get it where I want it. Alright, so there we go. We have our flip out here. Now I've got a couple of pieces of ephemera that I can put in here, but none of it's been backed yet. But I've got some music paper, and I've got this digital invoice that I can put in here that kind of ties the colors together. But like I said, they're just printed on regular papers, so they're, you know, they're not stiff like a card. But this can go in there just like that. And there we go. We have another layout. I decided after I did these couple of double pages that I probably should do, like, these aren't glued down, so they can come out if they need to, and be moved around. As in reality, this isn't glued down either, so I can take that off if I find out that I'm getting too bulky. So, yeah, I'm only going to do single page layouts for the moment. And I'm going to start out leaving a couple blank pages in between until I work my way through the book for the first time. And that way I will know, you know, how thick I'm getting, because I don't have a big spine in this book, and it's not going to take, even though I took 2 signatures out, it's not going to take a lot to make it too bulky. So I've given myself some options as far as that goes. So yeah, but I'm liking it so far. It's very eclectic. And definitely different working on this paper because it is so porous. And I totally freaked out when I did my first layout because you can't really tell it on here. But when you put the wet glue on there at first, you can see it through the back where it's wet. And I was like, oh my gosh. But when it dries, you can't see it. So that was nice to know. It does make it wrinkle if you, like, for example, put a thicker pocket on it. You can see, you know, that it's wrinkled, but that doesn't bother me. But the fact that it looked all wet and smushy and kind of gross looking kind of freaked me out. But like I said, when it dried, it was okay. And I think you're definitely better off, if you're working on this kind of paper, to use glue stick, because it doesn't make the paper as wet. So there you go. There's my video for today. And so I'll get my next couple of layouts ready. And the next one will continue, and I'll see what kind of ephemera we're going to do in the next one. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments, and be sure and use the hashtag Junk Journal Madness, JJ Madness, if you're participating, so I can jump over and see what you're working on, and see what you're doing for this month. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.